This video is a quick recap of mean smoothing. So we can use odd numbers of points or even numbers of points with mean smoothing, whereas we only use odd numbers of points with median smoothing. So a quick recap of 3 mean smoothing. All that would mean was if we were looking at, for example, the first 3 years together, the middle point there would relate to the year 2013. So we're looking for 2012, 13, 14. The middle year is 2013, and the mean data would relate to 2013, the mean of those 3 points. So in terms of the mean, we would be calculating 8 plus 21 plus 13 and then dividing that number by 3. Okay, for the second smoothed point, we would look at the second 3 years. Obviously, the middle of those 3 years, the midpoint there, would relate to 2014, and to do the calculation for the data point there would be 21 plus 13 plus 17 divided by 3. So very easy and straightforward if it's an odd number. It's a little bit more calculation involved if it is an even number, because we do need to center the data then as well. So for example, using that same data, if we were to do a mean smoothing but using 4 data points, it's a little bit more complicated. So if I was looking at the years 12, 13, 14 and 15 in the blue pen there, the middle of those 4 points you could hopefully see lies in between 2013 and 2014. So not directly on a correlating year, but in between 2 different years. So if we were to calculate the mean of those 4 bits of data, you can see in the blue calculations there how I've done that. 8 plus 21 plus 13 plus 17 divided by 4, but it doesn't actually correspond with a particular year. It falls in between 2 years. So then if I'm looking at the next 4 years in red, you'll see that the middle of those 4 years falls in between 2014 and 2015. So again, not terribly useful for my graph, but you can see the red calculation there, 21 plus 13 plus 17 plus 9 divided by 4 gives me the mean of those 4 data points. So if I'm going to be allocating a smoothed data point with a particular year, I need to what we call center those 2 calculations. So if I was to then try and center that, what I'm doing there is finding now the mean of those 2 calculations. And you can hopefully see there that the mean of those 2 would correlate with 2014 on my graph. So to get that smoothed and centered value at 2014, I would do one final calculation of 14.75 plus 15 divided by 2. And that would give me the smoothed and centered data using 4 mean smoothing for the year 2014. Again, the green data relates to 14, 15, 16 and 17. And again, that midpoint falls in between 15 and 16. And the mean is 10.75. So if I want to center again and get a data point, a smooth data point that actually relates to a significant year, a particular year, I'm looking at the 2015 year would relate to this centered bit of data. So I need to again take the mean, 15 plus 10.75 over 2, and that would give me the mean smoothed and centered data for 2015. So we can do that by hand for every single year there, and long-winded. Occasionally the sort of questions you get asked on an exam would be more particular to a certain year. They might ask for the smoothed and centered data using form mean smoothing for the year 2018, for example. So I pulled out an old exam question to show you the type of question that gets asked quite often. And this particular question is looking for a form mean smoothed value for the year 2011. So here's the year 2011, and what we're looking for is the value using 4 pieces of data that sort of surround that 2011 year. So you can see they're in the light green. I've circled around 4 years, and that puts 2011 in the 3rd position. And then in the red I've circled again, and that puts 2011 in the 2nd position out of the 4. Okay, so we need to be able to do that. Put 2011 in the 2nd position, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then in the 3rd position, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then we find the average or the mean of the green data, then the average or the mean of the red data, and then we need to center those two. So we need to find the average again of the 2 answers.